You're listening to the Orisha Wisdom Podcast, episode 37. Welcome to the Orisha Wisdom Podcast, where positivity and spirituality create an enhanced life's journey with the wisdom of Ifa and Orisha. I am your host, Omileti Olubunmi. Welcome to the Orisha Wisdom Podcast. I am Omileti. Thank you for spending some of your time with me to talk about all things Orisha, spirituality, and growth. So turn up your volume if you're in your car, put on your earbuds, grab a cup of coffee, tea, something yummy to drink, and let's chat. This episode comes to you from our very own Ori affirmations. Ori is one of those things that when folks come into these traditions, they want to know more about it. What is it? Do I have one? How do I start working with it? Can I get it? Do I get initiated to it? All of these things. And I've created a little something to get you started with Ori. How do you get your hands on it? Go to www.orishawisdom.com/Ori1. That is ORI and then the number 1. With that, let's get this episode started. It is early May of 2020, and I've watched as much of our reality of life has changed drastically. There are folks who now have no work thanks for the COVID-19 pandemic plaguing the world. There are others who are essential workers who have to go out every day to still work. A huge thank you to you all. You have no idea how much your courage is inspiring. From doctors, nurses, to all of the postal workers, the delivery workers, the truck drivers, the vans, the people who fix things, people in the supermarkets. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, and don't forget stores and supermarkets and all of the list is not complete, but thank you all. This is why I named this episode Our New Reality. The way that our world has changed, it has surely been an interesting shift, to say the least. Many of us, if you're lucky, work from home. And if you have young kids, you have also become teachers, tutors, and a do everything person. Some folks are not dealing well with isolation and lack of human interaction, and others are just rolling with the punches. This is an episode that I waited a bit to make, as I was hoping that this COVID thing would be a short-lived thing. I'm a bit too optimistic sometimes, but I started to see that this might go for a tiny bit longer than I expected. So I'm going to talk to you about our Yoruba traditions and our new reality. When this first happened, I honestly thought that maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks max, this whole thing would last and then everything would go back to normal. Looking at the many ways that this is going, it doesn't look that way. And I'm also a little bit worried that some places may start to reopen shop a lot sooner than what would be prudent, but that is my opinion. I understand people want, money to start coming back to businesses and stuff, but I think that reopening too soon might not be a smart idea for the safety of the popularity at large, like for the safety of everybody is what I'm trying to say. Now, I'm going to tell you a story. The first 2 weeks that we were told to stay home, I was not sleeping very well. Sleep was quite fragmented. And for those of you who know me, well and know me personally, you know that I do not function well when I get no sleep. And remember, I still have to be a mom. I am now a teacher, a referee, among other hats. I didn't know if I was going to get through. Then after that, I remember I kept waking up around 1 or 2, 4, 3. Like and it was very difficult for me to go back. And I'm like, when is this going to be over? And one day, a little voice whispered to me, this is a unique opportunity. Oh, wait, I have to whisper it. This is a unique opportunity. I didn't know what that meant, but I knew who had said it. Since I recognized that little voice as my own Ori, I decided to go back and meditate on that for a bit. And I realized that this is a great opportunity on many levels. One is, let's use this time to break away for a bit to reflect and plan our next steps. And I'm going to break it down on what it meant for me. But as I am chatting, I want you to also think of what it could mean to you. Okay. On the family front, let's just go in that area. I've always wanted to work fully from home. Really, I did. But I work in an office. So now I get to do that. There are many challenges with that, with working from home, but it is a great opportunity to have fun with the kids and just to slow down for a bit. I can make this time to be a little more memorable versus, all right, I got to rush and we got to come in and I have to get dinner and I have to make it in time for dinner and stuff like that. Because that's basically what my life has always been. It's always, I have to make it to somewhere to do something with the family. On the next, so this is just one. There are many, but I'm not going to bore you with all of that. On the next front, I'm going to tackle relationship. I'm very driven and I go from one thing to the next very quickly. And when I go to bed, I crash like lights out. This can be a time where I could talk to my husband. I could just look into those eyes and really enjoy conversation. I don't have to feel rushed all the time. And when I had to go into the office, I didn't see him until evening. And the evenings were cut short either to Cub Scouts or Boy Scouts, or I have a call, or I have to do this. And I go to bed early because I wake up early. So I may see him for just an hour. And that doesn't mean that we're talking. We're just doing dinner. I'm getting ready with the kids and I'm going to bed. And he's a night owl. So he's up, I'm out. This can be a little different for us, you know? On the work side, we're talking about my job now. By doing my job the way that I'm supposed to, showing up every day, I can show my resilience and raise my trust factor to those who depend on me to show up every day at my place of employment, even though we have to do things a little bit differently and I can be in my pajamas, I can be a little more flexible, but I still get to show that side of me. On the personal side, I can use some of this time that I no longer use on commuting and I can use it to be introspective. I can plan my actions a little bit better. I can do something else, something different. I can work on, I don't know, how to do something on a technical side for Orisha Wisdom, or I can work on my self growth. I can listen to a book. I can work on interpersonal skills, leadership skills, or painting skills, drawing. Oh, and lately, gardening. That's going to be a fun one. I will let you know how that happens because last year that was a disaster. But seriously, this is now the time that I can choose to do something with it or to waste it. Now let's go to the nitty gritty. On the spiritual side, Many of you who are new to the traditions, you guys are already revved up your engines. You are itching to let your engines go on full throttle. And when it comes to learning about the traditions, you are ready to go. To those who have been in the traditions a little longer, we, of course, still have respect for the traditions, but life sometimes gets in the way. We have new responsibilities. You are getting married, you got pregnant, you have a job, you have another job, you have your kids' activities, whatever it is. And then our prayers are a little rushed, and the morning routines aren't as thorough because you need to get to work early, or I don't know. Now your weekly affair with your warriors is more like a rushed 3-minute thing, and it's a chore. It's interesting how a microscopic being has forced the world to stop or to slow down. You are in for a treat. I hope that you were paying attention to how I separated some of my areas of life. And if you know anything about me, you know that I love actionable things. I'm a list kind of person. So here you go, in no particular order. Just take a piece of paper. If you're driving, don't take a piece of paper, do it later. But if you're not driving and you're just kind of hanging out, take a piece of paper and you're going to do the following. You're going to write your top three goals. Three goals. Goals are things that you want to accomplish. Three goals for the following: your personal self growth, your relationship. That means like you and your significant other, your family, your health, and your spirituality. Just five. We can always, extend that, but we're just going to focus on those. Just write the top three that come to mind. You can always do this later, but the top three. And this is for you. So no need to lie and write something that sounds good, or you think that your husband or wife wants you to say, or your parents have always nagged you about. Just be brutally honest. The top three. If it is as honest as, for example, stop eating from the pantry every time I walk past it, then so be it. That would be on the health one, by the way. From that list, grab just one from each section. What I would do is that I would just circle it. Circle one. Then on the bottom, you're going to write three things that you must do to make each one happen for the next 7 days. Seriously, this is an exercise that has worked for many before you on many arenas, very prettily, very roughly. It doesn't matter. This is just for you. You grab a piece of paper. You can put 5 columns, 1, 2, 3, 4, just 5 sections, write and just continue to write. You can label it. It doesn't matter as long as you have 5 sections. I like the columns better so that you could just work from top to bottom, but that's just my preference. When it comes to your spirituality, what has been a challenge that you'd like to work on? Would you like to work on, for example, I don't know, have you thought of finally putting up that altar for your ancestors? Do you have an ancestral shrine and the water on those glasses has been dried up months ago? What about a refresher for your shrine? Were you doing the prayers in the morning and then it became weekly and now it's like a one off, maybe every now and then? How about to committing just one day to get dressed in white and do your spiritual prayers? Let's see, have you been lax on taking care of your warriors? Of course, if you have them. If you don't worry about this one. Why not take the time to put on your calendar on what you can do this week spiritually within our traditions to help you move your spiritual needle over just a bit for you? This is the perfect time for it, for you to kind of move over into a positive step every area of your life. I want to share something. Self-reflection plus action equals progress towards your goals. I'm going to repeat that again. Self-reflection plus action equals progress towards your goals. When you give it a little thought, let me know if you tried this and what happened the first week of doing this. Sometimes when we're thinking about a goal, it doesn't matter which aspect of our lives we're talking about. We think of something way too big, and then it's ginormous, and then we don't do anything and we're stuck. I know because when I'm even thinking about it right now and I'm like, oh my God, I'm frozen. I freeze. Let me know what change you made the first 7 days after you tried this actionable bit. And you may not think that it was totally helpful, or let me put it to perspective. So let's say you have the 5 goals, but three you absolutely worked through and 3 you did. That's a lot better off than if you would have done none. And I think that at this point, we need, instead of just shopping and Netflix and a lot of other things to kind of pass the time, do something that will better our lives in all aspects of our lives. Since this is a Yoruba Orisha place, of course, we're going to focus on the spirituality, but understand that you are made of different facets. You are your love for your children, your love for your wife, your fiance, your husband. You are your commitment to your job or your business if you're a business owner. You are the priest or priestess or aborisha or alejo, your spirituality. That is a piece of you. These are all pieces of you. It's like we're diamonds, little facets of all the things that are important to us. I think that this is, like I said, a great time for us to reflect, but not just to think about it, to kind of jot things down. And like I said, it doesn't have to be pretty as long as we're doing a little something to move on over, to become better, and to do some work on our relationships, on ourselves, on our spirituality. And as I'm talking to you right now, I'm thinking, there's a lot of stuff in my spiritual arena that I have to do, as well as others. So I am definitely going to put myself to work as well and really hunker down and get this done. In the middle of our new reality, definitely I want you to practice social distancing, stay safe, wash your hands, all of that good stuff. Do everything that you can in your power to stay healthy and to be responsible. I'm wishing you the best. I think that all of us together can ride out this. And it's interesting. It might be something that we needed to help us think of life a little bit differently. That it's not all about the way, or maybe there were some things that were important to us before, but really are not that important. Okay? So stay safe and stay healthy, and just let's do the very best to ride this out. We've reached the end of this episode. If you liked it, well, like it, comment, of course, share it. And if you're on YouTube, like the episode, subscribe, and click on the little bell icon so that you can be the first to know when there is a new video uploaded. I will link you to the YouTube channel on the show notes so you don't have to worry about a thing. For show notes, speaking of show notes, go to www.orishawisdom.com/37 for 37. Stay tuned for the next episode. I'm not going to give it away, but it has to do with a yawo. That's all I'm going to say about that. Until next time, may the elevated ancestors and all Orisha bless you immensely. Odabo.
Thank you for listening to the Orisha Wisdom Podcast. Be sure to check out the show notes at orishawisdom.com/podcast. Can't get enough of Orisha Wisdom? Check us out at orishawisdom.com and subscribe to our community. Remember, the wisdom of Ifa and Orisha is all around us. Be blessed, and until next time.